All right, welcome back to another episode of Asset Coach and Tax Strategist. Welcome to our YouTube channel. If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. And if you're a subscriber, hey, thanks so much for returning. Remember, if you do subscribe, click the little bell so you get notified every Thursday when we drop new episodes. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're new to this YouTube channel, our goal, our focus is you as a small business owner, you as a taxpayer, and how do we understand the articles or the communication or the media or the things that are being presented to us as business owners, as taxpayers, and what's that mean to me? Right? Is this fear mongering? Should I be worried about this? Should I be concerned about it? So my job, my goal, my hope, my thought is to be able to go through these articles. 99.9% of these articles I have never read until now. I like the headline. I think it's appropriate for content, and I'll open up and I'll read it. Okay. Now there's a couple times where I'll grab some other articles that are very similar over a period of time, and we'll go through a handful of these articles and do the same thing. Read between the lines. Is this something that I need to be worried about or not? If so, how do I handle this? How do I combat this? What do I need to do to prepare? Most of the time, I will say a lot of this stuff really doesn't have any type of bearing on what we're doing in our day-to-day lives. Now, we're all affected by stuff, right? So I'm not saying that. And so please understand that when I'm saying don't, just ignore all this stuff, it's not just ignore it, but you don't need to change your whole business model. You don't need to be fearful and crawl under your desk and sit there and biting your nails and thinking about happy thoughts, right? The whole idea of this is just to say, hey, let's look at a different viewpoint that really doesn't have a bias or a motivation for you to be fearful or not to be fearful on this. It's just a random dude, business owner, somebody who has not only experience in one business, but multiple businesses, who consults and works with business owners and taxpayers on how to reduce their tax liability by understanding how to utilize their business most effectively and efficiently, how to use assets to grow their wealth, which would include their business, which includes their mind and their mindset, as well as the actual dollars and cents of business. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I bring this up because I think this is important, because today's article is from Epoch Times, and it's California small businesses shaken down by frivolous lawsuits, reform advocates. In California, nearly 750,000 employees lose their jobs each year due to a litigation costs paid by employers, according to a report by Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. I don't know anything about this group. I don't know what their motivation is or anything like that. But this is the article that is written based on that report. Okay. At least the title of the article, and the 750,000 employees lose their jobs, is based on that particular report. So let's go here. California small businesses are being shaken down by frivolous lawsuits, with some owners fleeing the state or foregoing their dreams because the state's countless laws and regulations, according to business owners and citizen advocates for reform. Last year, California was ranked the third worst judicial hellhole in the country, according to a December 2022 report from the American Tort Reform Foundation, a Washington, D.C. nonprofit dedicated to reforming the civil justice system. California small business owners are plagued with lawsuits, according to the foundation, and the state is home to more than half of the nation's so-called accessibility lawsuits, such as non-compliance with American Disabilities Act. Okay, so as a previous Californian, we moved to Texas the late 2020. So this December will be 3 years we've been here in Texas. And I will tell you, as a business owner, this is one of the reasons why we fled California. The taxes, the cost of living, the craziness of the politics, and it just didn't make sense for us to be there anymore. And as a business consultant who focuses on helping businesses reduce taxes, focus on how to grow their business, it didn't make sense for me to stay in California and consult people around the country and say, oh yeah, I'm in California, but don't do what I do, listen to what I say. No, we picked up our family, sad, angry, disappointed, frustrated, all those emotions of leaving your family and friends that you have built a lifetime growing, And we picked up our family, picked up our businesses, and moved because we had to. Okay. And this article kind of points at. Now, is this just the only article that's talking about this? Well, it was before I started recording, and I went to Google and I typed in or cut and paste California small businesses shaken down by frivolous lawsuits. Okay. And so here is what popped up: 1.38 million results. And so reformcalifornia.org. Thousands of frivolous private attorney generals act lawsuits have been filed recently in a result to, let's see what that says. Let's open that up, see if it opens up here really quickly. There we go. The Private Attorneys General Act, PAGA, is a California state law that gives private labor law attorneys the right to act as de facto state law enforcement agents in suing small businesses for alleged labor law violations. Thousands of frivolous PAGA lawsuits have been filed recently that have resulted in devastating financial losses for business owners. Okay, well, pretty soon minimum wage is going to be just that, a very minimum wage, because there won't be business owners there. It'll be state employees, and they get paid by business owners and taxpayers. And if the taxpayers leave like we did, California has the highest income tax. I'm in Texas right now. Our gas just hit $2.98 again. $2.98 a gallon. Okay. It's been at $3.40 or so for about most of the year. Okay. And it's dipped down to $2.98. I saw one at $2.74. So what is it there in California? Right. So at the end of the day, and here's the thing: California, the Long Beach ports are the busiest ports in the world, certainly in the United States. So all the goods and services hit the ports. So why is everything so much more expensive in California than here in Texas? In Texas, we had the same sales tax amount as in California, Orange County. So I know every county is different. Okay. So it's not that. Our property taxes are higher than California, absolutely, but our houses are more affordable. Okay. We do have more toll roads, but you don't have to ride the toll roads like you have to do on the 91 to get in and out from past the Orange Curtain into Corona, Riverside County, and back into Orange County to work and business and family and friends that you left to go over to Corona, Chino Hills, right? Why did you do that? So you can afford a house. Now you can't afford the house that you live in right now. Right? If you were to try to buy that house, you probably couldn't afford it, but you still drive. And the last time I was in California was a couple months ago. I saw that, and this could be totally wrong. I saw it was $15 one way using the tollway on the 91. Okay. Ridiculous. That's just a couple things that I recall. And look at here: ideas and opinions. The union, small businesses, protect small business owners from lawsuit abuse. California small business shaken down by frivolous lawsuits. So this is kind of using the same report. But look at this: deal down. California Chamber of Commerce initiative to stop shakedown. So even the Chamber of Commerce in California is trying to figure out, what do we do? The state did this. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. So, I can go through the rest of this article, and it's not much longer, but I don't need to. You get the point. You get the idea. I'm not telling you to, if you want to have a better lifestyle, you need to leave California. I'm not saying that at all, but I am saying it's an option. Now, if you have certain licenses or pensions or certain things that really are going to kind of hold you into California, then yeah, obviously you can't leave. And there's no pressure to saying, oh, if you're a loser if you don't leave. Not that at all. Okay, we have a good amount of family and friends that are still in California, there for pensions that they need to stay in their jobs for another few years. They have law degrees or medical licenses, various things like that, where it's not just easy to say, okay, see ya. I was lucky enough, or I planned enough, or I was dumb enough not to go get become a doctor or a lawyer. Right. I'm not smart enough to be able to go through that process. And so I'm just an average dude that started a business and businesses, and I had the opportunity. Now I have licenses and all that fun stuff, but my licenses, I was able to shift and move those and go to Texas and make those adjustments. Was it a pain in the what? Yes, it was. It's not easy. It's not easy picking up everything and leaving. But sometimes the right thing is the right thing. For us, it was the right thing. And we have seen a boon. We have opened in the almost 3 years we've here. We've opened multiple businesses. We've had multiple opportunities. Our business has evolved. And it's not just because it's a lower cost of living or anything like that, but the energy, the thought process, that not feeling like you have regulators kind of sitting on your shoulders while you're trying to stand up out of your chair each day, and you have that extra weight of 200 pounds of regulators sitting on you. Okay. And that's just from a business perspective. Think about the personal perspective. And so I'm not saying anything you probably don't already know, and I'm not trying to talk you out of it again. I'm just sharing that even though there's this mass exodus over the last 10 years, if you don't believe me, go back to one of our YouTube videos that talked about this exodus happening 10 years. Shoot, when I was in workers' comp and business liability insurance back in the mid-2000s, there was a huge exodus of manufacturing companies leaving California, going to Arizona, Reno, and Nevada, going to Oregon, going to Idaho. Well, why? Because insurance rates were skyrocketed. The employment was taxes, for all those reasons. That was the first exodus, and that was in the mid-early 2000s, 2005, 2007 area. Okay, so now there's a huge exodus. The last 2 years, California now has hit that point where there's been more people that left California that entered it in 3 decades. Why is that? Just because, oh, we don't like the sunshine anymore. Hey, I want weather. I want to have the different seasons. No, it's not that at all. People are fleeing because of this. These laws are still passing, even though, so the politicians in California are completely either blinded by what's happening, or they just don't effing care about you. One of the two. It could be a blend of the two. They're just blind and they don't care about you. It could be both of that. I don't know. But if the trends, you got to learn from history. If you don't learn from history, you become history, right? And so you have to, and that's what our whole business model and consulting is all about for businesses. Look, if you haven't learned from the tech bubble, if you haven't learned from COVID, if you haven't learned from the financial crisis, if you haven't learned from these different areas of business cycles and investment cycles and economic cycles to shift and change to help prepare for these things, that if you may have been essential this the pandemic, the shutdown, COVID, right? You may have been an essential business, but what if you were not? What if it gets flipped the next time they do this? You were essential before, now you're not, and somebody else that wasn't essential is now. What are you going to do? So we have to make choices. You have to learn from history or you become history, okay? And that is not a favorable decision, at least for me. So think about it. What are you going to do? Add some comments down below. Give some thoughts to help some of the viewers think about other things that they can do. If you've left the state, has it been good? Of course, it's not all rosy, what is it? Rainbows and butterflies, and the roses are always popping up every morning, smelling and filling air. It's hard to leave your family and friends. Now, it's making new friends and getting involved and getting used to a new environment. Geez, just to go to the grocery store for the first 3-4 months, I still had to use GPS to figure out how to get to the darn grocery store. It's not your environment. It's a new environment. So yes, it's not going to be perfect. But for us, it was worth it. For others, it has been worth it. Does it mean that we don't miss our family and friends, where we don't miss? Absolutely doesn't mean that. I miss my family and friends dearly. I miss California and being able to just get in the car and just go. and go and be in the environment that I grew up in. But I'm happy to not be there. I'm happy to have the peaceful thoughts, to the nice energy. If you're an energy type person, I like to have that positive energy, not being in that environment and that cloud just kind of hanging on you. So hopefully, yeah, I don't know if this was helpful to you, or this was good information, or this just made you angry, and I apologize for that, unless it turns into action and you do something. But don't do things out of emotion, do things out of logic and responsibility. Yeah, give us a thumbs up, and feel free to share us, and add some comments down below. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate it. See you in the next episode. All right, thanks, guys.